As a 23-year-old, I designed and built Nigeria's first off-grid hospital. 6 years later, I came back, not just to see the building, but to hear the stories.
When you walked in, I told you that I want to give you your flowers, Abby, because one girl literally walked in here and said, "So this place is in Nsukka."
I had a friend, she used to live in this building. So when this place was renovated and when I came here, I shouted, I said, these people, they have good taste.
Here is the star of the show.
It blew my mind. In my imagination, I didn't imagine that.
This place is well ventilated, even in the dry season. It's like when you go to some places, you see them using maybe paper or something. No. You can't see that kind of thing here. Sometimes we get to hear some of them will tell us, say, "Where is your AC? I want to off it." Where's your AC? Yes. There's no AC in the hall now. They say no.
1 year passed, and then 2, and then 3, and then up to 5 years.
If we are to check our bills from that 2020 till date, it will be running in millions.
We're looking at cost reductions of about 8 million naira annually for the hospital.
Six years ago, as a 23-year-old, I designed and built Nigeria's first off-grid hospital. We were called to renovate a dilapidated mixed-use building and turn it into a statement-making eye hospital for the Nsukka community.
I had an accident, a terrible one. I managed to survive. So I was asked by the consultant that took care of me to go to eye hospital. Because of the number of patients is terrible, the number there is too much. I asked somebody, where can I see this consultant? I see any private clinic, and they directed me. So from there, I now went to where the private hospital. It was at that place that she started planning to come to, so she told me. It made life, and it still makes life easier, far much easier. Because it's easier that when she used to come here, it's easier to see her here. If you take the time to go to Enugu, it's not an easy one.
Before Obiaza Nsukka, hey, nsi Jesus, nyam ni nokwa. Maka before ka mwete go moti jebe Enugu, ama m ko shadam. Bia jebeze. Bidonia Nsukka bolo lugu kwa. Na ejeze ba. Olokata zaru abaru mazaru nsi chuku. Okay then.
If Tesh is there in Enugu, is terrible. The experience is terrible because many of our people here, they have eye challenges, have eye diseases. And many of them are even blind, not even knowing the cause of their blindness. But because of the distance, actually not everybody will even agree to go to Enugu. Some of them will tell you, no. So before the existence of Tesh, many of our people, that they are going to Kano, they are going to Ochadam, somewhere in Kogi State, which is very far place. Yes, then Tesh now came, just like a savior have arrived. Yes, that's how it is. So Tesh is a savior for this town.
When I got there, I saw the reality. Walls bent out of shape, corridor slabs caving in, trees growing on the roof, a narrow staircase barely fit for one person, and no reinforcement along the long courtyard. It was a building abandoned by time. I worked closely with the late architect Joseph Olugo, who focused on reviewing the design and supervising the structural stages.
The client had a clear and refreshing vision. A major thing she said was, I don't want it to feel like a hospital. I want it to feel like people are walking into a space that was designed to support the healing process. So not just the medical care that they were going to receive, but the environment also supporting that.
I know she is a creative person, and I said, well, I don't know what you want to do with this, but whatever, just do something that when I enter there, I will say, wow, you know? And she said, oh, okay, you know, and so we gave her the free hand to design and all that.
We started with concepts and sketches, exploring how light, circulation, and human experience could redefine the space. Each drawing, each iteration moved us closer to that vision. A hospital that will not just serve, but inspire. We began working on iterations for the facade. For the first proposal, we were thinking a mix of bold and simple. So we used a sun shading feature to create a shell for the building, acting as its new facade. She looked at it and said, I don't think it will be fine without the lights on. I want something that draws people in even when the lights are off. So we went back to the drawing board, and from that second iteration, Nsukka was born. The facade design was inspired by these phrases: making a statement and the human eye.
Now, when we come to this artwork here, our client specifically mentioned in the brief that she wanted something that would stand out in this community. You know, something that people would notice when they are driving past or walking past. And so we're very intentional to make something bold. And this is basically a sculpture that shows the eye shape inverted. But at the end of the day, if you put them together, it's actually the eye. And then we also have the actual shape of the eye carved out, just to also make a loud statement to the community that there's something here for them that has to do with their eye health.
The fascia cover was designed to conceal the roofline, maintaining a clean, modern silhouette, while creating a focal point for the hospital's name and emblem. The security house followed a simpler style, clean, modern, simple, flowing into the style and scheme of the main building. For the 3D conceptualization and rendering, I collaborated with Jedediah Jeff Onyebule, who is also an architectural designer. I moved to Nsukka for 6 months. I stayed at their old hospital location on a standard hospital bed, you know, the small ones, in one of the wards.
It was their first location when they expanded to Nsukka, and so I stayed here in one of the wards for about 6 months while working on that property. So I would come to Nsukka in and out here and there, and at some point we just needed that concentrated, presence. And so I knew that shuttling Enugu Nsukka might be too much and not really sustainable, so I had to move.
Every morning I would take a bike to the site, often returning after sunset.
So I would leave here around, like 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m., depending on what we were doing, and come back here sometimes 8:30, 9, but typically I will come back around, say 7 p.m. The profession of architecture is, it takes you around and you learn to work with what you have to achieve the results you want. So that was it here. It's interesting to be back here after 6 years and see what it looks like.
I would spend time asking the engineer and the architect I work with questions. At some point, I invited a builder from Enugu City to give me insight on how to handle pricing for workers, whether it was day pay, whether it was a contract arrangement, which one was better, when to work by counting the blocks, and so on and so forth.
When you walked in, I told you that I want to give you your flowers, Abby, because truly people will come in and they're like, this place is so nice. Nsukka. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. One girl literally walked in here and said, so this place is in Nsukka. I've seen some of them that will come in and say, my friend said I should come and see this place. There's something about the lightning of this place. I don't know if it's the way the architect did the blue shields. The lighting is just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
When they enter the building, they say, wow, this is massive. This is, sure, some people will feel that this is bank. Yeah, some people that are passing will say, is it not bank? They will not say, no, this is eye clinic. They say, what? With this big building. When they now come inside, they look at the designs and I say, wow, this is fantastic. Yes, you get to hear that kind of comment frequently. This is fantastic. Wow, you guys really did well here. You know, the building itself speaks volume.
The first thing is that when you come here, whether there is light or no light, you will see. You will not start, grumbling for you to find the way through which you will move. So the way it's designed, I'd have some rays of light coming is okay. Somebody who do not understand will think, maybe rain will be falling here. That is not true. It's not true. So that is the first attention, the first thing that, impressed me in the design.
I was able to get to the building site. And indeed, when I entered the quadrangle, I said, wow. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, it blew my mind. In my imagination, I didn't imagine that. Wow, it was really, each time I entered there, those early days, it was really a wow that comes from me. And I told the architect, yeah, you really got it. You got that exclamation out of me, and that was very fulfilling.
We transformed the open courtyard into an indoor atrium that now serves as a naturally lit, airy waiting area. We repositioned the staircase, installed columns to reinforce corridor slabs, and brought the structure back to life. Here in the central waiting area, we have the corridors that wrap around this area. And when we came into this building, the corridor was caving in, the slabs. There was nothing holding it off at all. And in fact, we even wondered how it had stayed up for that long without any support. And if you look at it, you can still see some bit of that, undulating movement going on because it was really caving in. And the thickness of this corridor slabs right now tells you how much work we did, because when we came here, it was like 5 inches thick, and now it's almost 1 foot. So we did a lot of correction with the tiling and screeding and the ceilings just to correct it as much as possible. And another thing we did to ensure even more longevity for the corridor slabs was to install these columns at strategic points, and we painted them white so it blends into the rest of the walls and you won't notice it as much. But it was important since it was a renovation. We couldn't really, there were limits to what we were, given liberty to do. So we weren't going to break all the slabs and build new ones that were stronger. So we just installed columns to ensure that they stayed as strong as possible and held in place for the longest time. So here you have the as-built plan, and you can see this wall here. This is the entrance, and there was this staircase here. Immediately you get on, and then we had this wall here. So we had to take off this wall to create that free flow when you're coming into the open space. Moving the staircase to this point also meant that we created a bit more privacy for it to prevent wandering. So if the staircase was right in front as it was before, then it's almost like inviting people to go to the more private parts of the hospital. So we moved it to this point, which is still open, easy to access. So once people come in here, they can take a walk from this point all the way to this point, because it's the private end of the hospital. It's not used as much, so it's just sufficiently open and sufficiently hidden. So still on the old plan, the as-built plan, when we came to this site, it had these attached structures to the main building. So we had to pull it down. But rather than leaving this space open, which would have given us some landscape space, we had some functionality needs for wards. So the first floor of this facility had rooms, but most of those rooms had been taken up by private wards and semi-private wards, the theater. So we needed space for the general ward category, and so we had to incorporate a new building. So that was the only part of this entire project that was built from scratch. So we pulled down the other old wings, and then we established this new wing that was going to take the male general ward and the female general ward. And the access to this wing, we considered accessibility. So we incorporated a staircase here and a ramp. So that's something that, I try to think about for every project, especially when it has to do with a hospital or a place where older people will come to, and just a public space in general. You never know who is coming. This was quite challenging because we didn't have a lot of space, so we had to really try to make it work. So coming to the zoning of the space, what we did was, divide the already existing space into public and private use. So which meant we had to identify what would be the more noisy parts of the building and what would be the more quiet zones. The activities we zoned to the front of the building were activities that are more commonly used, like, the pharmacy, the reception, of course, the general waiting area, the eye test rooms. So all of that we zoned them to the front of the building. We also zoned the manager's office to the front intentionally, so she could be very close to the action and know if there's a problem and be able to come out and resolve the problem. So then as you move towards the back end of the building, you begin to see spaces that require more quietness, like the accountant's office. And then of course we have the WCs, which were already existing. So we just maintained their location. We had 4 WCs, so we divided it into male and female for the patients, 1 for the staff, 1 for the doctors, and that was sorted out. Towards the end of the building, you also have the optician's workshop, and then of course we have the back door, which is properly hidden. On the first floor, what we did here was to create 4 private rooms, private wards, and then we created 3 semi-private rooms. And then we also have the theater space. So this entire wing was zoned for the theater. We had to ask the client how they would use the space, what they need, the functions, so we could actually properly arrange everything for them that would work for them. So when it comes to the windows for the building, I would typically go with really big windows, to just encourage lighting and ventilation passively. But with this particular structure, we restrained ourselves from expanding the windows. I was advised by the architect I worked with of blessed memory, who said, who kept emphasizing that this was a fragile structure. So it was pretty old. He kept emphasizing that we needed to, be careful with any vibrations on the building to prevent collapse. And so we still try to create sizable windows. We ensured to use casement windows, which allow 80 to 100% of ventilation into the space when they're opened. On the exterior,
We replastered the walls with waterproof cement to stop years of water damage. We did that indoors as well for some affected areas. We introduced a barrel roof supported by steel trusses and long-span aluminium sheets.
The site was compact, so we had to be intentional, especially with drainage. We defined its non-evident boundaries with low fences.
We wanted something that felt welcoming for the community and not closed off. So we intentionally chose this very low height for the fence and the gate, so it doesn't feel like something that is separated from the community. It's something that people can just walk into and see the premises, see the building from even a faraway distance. So we're now at the back house where we created a drainage solution peculiar to this site. One of the challenges that a site can have is drainage, and for this particular place, it was basically locked up. When you look at this site, there's no space on the right, and there's some space on the left, but no space on the right, which is where we are right now, the right side of the building, standing inside it. And so the question was, all this rain coming from the back, all the rain coming from above, where is it going to go? Because we have the extension of the building right in front of us, and there's no passageway, not even 1 centimeter. So the solution for us was, after much brainstorming and consultation of different professionals, the solution we came up with was to create an earth pit that is reinforced around the sides with concrete, and all the water is concentrated there. And when the water enters this place, it goes right down into the earth, and because of the reinforcement around it, it doesn't affect the building or the foundations beside it. Even when it came to the laying of the interlocking stones, we had them laid to allow water flow into the middle, so it's not a flat ground here. It's all moving from the 4 sides to the middle. And we've gone on to do it in another project of ours, and it works. It's a system that works. It isn't so popular. I don't hear people talking about it a lot. But if you have a site that doesn't have space, you can create an earth pit that is reinforced around the site, properly reinforced, and sort out your drainage.
When I came here first, I said, now wow, this place changed, because I had a friend in charismatic renewal. She's in charge of DHL in Nsukka. She used to live in this building before Tesh bought it. So when this place was renovated, and when I came here, I shouted, I said, these people, they have good taste. They have redesigned everything, and it's marvelous, it's nice. Then because I had operation here, I entered through so many rooms. My last operation, I stayed in a private room. So the design is working, and I know you are involved. So kudos, good thing.
Here is the star of the show, which is the elevated atrium. So of course we know already by now that this place was an open air space. It was a courtyard, and so converting this space to become a comfortable waiting area was very important, because it's the first thing you see when you walk into the building. And through different brainstorming sessions with the client, we already had an idea, because as a designer at the time, I was already thinking along those lines, how to bring nature into interiors, how to bring nature into architecture. That was something that we were already thinking about, and she knew that I was thinking in those lines. So we're thinking, the first thing that came to my mind was, it definitely cannot be closed. It definitely cannot be opaque. Whatever we put here has to in some ways bring in some parts of nature. We can't close it off and this whole place will just be dark. But right now, even if the lights are off, they can still function here during the day, because we selected this Dampalon material, and we actually have a double layer of it to reduce the rays of the sun. But nonetheless, we put something that is translucent, that allows a bit of natural lighting to come in and filter around the space. So another thing we did to ensure that we have not just lighting but also ventilation was to elevate it above the roof level. So right now the damper one is elevated about 450 millimeters above the roof level, and we put steel bars round its perimeter such that air can come in through the front door and then hot air can rise and escape through those holes, keeping this place consistently ventilated, at least during the work day. And when I came in today, like, the fans were not on, and that was interesting. Like, wow. So sometimes it gets that comfortable that they don't even need the fans.
You hardly see anybody complaining of, I'm feeling heat, I'm feeling cold. Like, this place is well ventilated, very, very well ventilated, even in the dry season. Yes. You can't see people like, I'm feeling heat. Like when you go to some places, you see them using maybe paper or something. No. You can't see that kind of thing here. They're always feeling relaxed. Even you look now, you see them still relaxed, waiting to be seen by the doctor. Sometimes we get to hear some of them will tell us, say, where is your AC? I want to off it. Where's your AC? Yes. Where is your AC? I want to off this AC. You're like, there's no AC in the hall now. They say, no, please show me the switch. Let me off the AC. I don't like it. Because the place is well ventilated. Yes.
Sustainability extended beyond design to energy. We worked with the solar energy engineering team to install a full solar system powering the entire facility. Today, the hospital runs completely off-grid, saving millions in energy costs.
So the system at TESH is a 15 kVA inverter system with a 25 kilowatts peak solar system setup and a 30 kilowatt hour battery setup. It was designed with optimization in mind to perform at close to 100% efficiency. The solar system at TESH is an off-grid system standalone in the sense that it performs independently of the national grid supply. It receives its power energy directly from sunlight, the solar panels, and it charges the battery, then supplies load directly from the battery. What we installed was a smart automatic system where the solar system can decide when it sees fit to switch over to priority load. At a 40% battery charge state to 100% battery charge state, the system is supplying power to every load in the hospital. But once it goes below 40% of battery charge, it prioritizes loads. The priority loads are the medical equipment and the lighting points, because these are like core loads that are required for the hospital to keep performing.
Many people just took after us, We just be here and you see somebody walking and say, why is it that they don't need to take lights here? Why do people have lights 24/7? Why? And you tell them that, no, we are not using electricity. This is solar system. Say, what? You mean all the machines you have here, all the equipment, this can carry it like comfortably like this? When you tell them, say, yeah, they're like, wow, this is amazing. And I know that many of them that have big business like that, they have learned that they just need to power the place with the solar system. So, and on our own parts, it saves a lot, because I cannot really imagine us using NEPA. The view, the disappointment, as in maybe we are operating and NEPA just took lights, that kind of thing. So, but we having our own source of lights, we don't used to be afraid, scared that they may take the light to do quick, we just feel relaxed and do whatever we are doing. It's really amazing. If we are actually using electricity, believe me, we won't be able to be using many bulbs here. We'll be looking at the expenses. But because of we are just using solar system, everywhere is beautiful bulbs and all that. And it makes the place look more beautiful.
I thought that what we are having here is purely electricity from the national grid, that when there is no light, that they have solar system. So that is what I was saying. So if it's running on its own wood, that is marvelous. And this is one of the things we are working on, researching, so that we see if we can help ourselves as far as generating power is concerned. Very, very important.
The system produces averagely 100 kilowatts hour. So it generates 100 kilowatts hour of power daily. and it consumes around 50 to 60 kilowatts hour daily. So the way the system was designed was it produces more power that is required at that instance so that it can both charge the battery and supply to the loads during the daytime. The hospital has a very peculiar architecture. It has a clear, transparent roof. Then it was designed to allow natural ventilation, airflow. And the thing with solar systems is it's power electronics, power systems. These things generate heat. Heat affects the functionality, efficiency of the system. So the hospital has very clean natural ventilation, and this has brought down thermal load on the system by 20%. Also the lights. So because the roof is a transparent roof, the amount of lighting points we needed to install reduced, thereby reducing the amount of loads that is on the system. So we're looking at the lifespan of between 10 to 15 years before you need to replace your batteries. Since installation, we've had about 95% of uptime. Now during these periods, you hardly use diesel. The only time diesel comes into play is when you have very bad weather conditions. We're looking at diesel reductions of like 90 to 95%. The solar system we installed saves about 32 tons of CO2 emission annually.
I cannot even quantify it, the cost benefits. I know how much bills, EDDC bills is to families, not to talk of organization like this. If we are to check our bills from that 2020 till date, it will be running in millions.
We're looking at cost reductions of about 8 million naira annually for the hospital. A hospital is a very critical infrastructure because emergencies can occur at any given time, and you need to have electricity supply to power your medical equipment.
Initially, one had plans to put solar there, inverters and solar there, because in Tesh Enugu, we also had inverters and solar which we were using together with the national grid. So that was then the plan. But then when it came for us to connect to the national grid, there were so many outstanding bills in the building, and all efforts to get them waived because we didn't accumulate the bills. The electric corporation were resistant. So we said, why bother anyway? The capacity of the solar and, so the architect and the inverter company said, but you can actually run this on this, what you have. And we said, yeah. So anyway, we started hoping that the national grid one will be sorted out. But then it wasn't sorted out. And we kept going on. And we kept going on. 1 year passed, and then 2, and then 3, and then up to 5 years. We were running on that solar and inverter. So initially, it wasn't, we didn't say, no, we didn't want, but we now saw that, we could do it without the national, being connected to the national grid. And it was just great.
6 years later, I came back, not just to see the building, but to hear the stories. Patient visits have increased by over 400%, from an average of 1 to 4 patients a day to an average of 10 to 15 patients a day. The hospital has become a hub of access, dignity, and care.
If I count the week, I see more of new patients, and then the returning ones to return, but the new ones are usually on the rise, and it's because of referrals. I've come to understand that it's because of the referrals. So when they come in, they like the environment, and they usually feel at home, especially for those people that run surgeries here. We can have up to 30 patients some days. Some other days we can have 10 to 15.
I brought so many patients, so many, including students. And those I sent here, after treating them, they will come here and say, this is the course. I brought so many professors here, my colleagues in the office. I always refer them to test. I said, go and test. So I'm so much impressed. I'm bringing even Reverend sisters, Reverend fathers here.
That time, enweghị m ike ije without mmadụ. Ụmụaka na-eduje m. Mbịabaza o mezie m ofe ebe a. Since ahụ, ana m agakwa, amaghị m na m ga-emechi njikwara anya m fụbuzi. Mana Chukwu rụrụ ya. Ụlọ ọgwụ a, ana m agwakwa ndị mmadụ, onye chọkwara ilekwala anya na ego, jebele ọ ga-azọpụta gị. And ụfọdụ na-abịakwa.
Everything is for the comfort of the patient. There is this psychological feeling. Person may even get cured before even seeing doctor. Just by coming into an environment, and that environment is full of happiness, relaxation, and all that. The person may just like, wow, I like this place. So because the place is comfortable, you see some of our patients even come around. That even they are not coming to see doctor. Yeah, they just come and, tell us I'm getting better and I'm happy, and they will just sit back and stay for some minutes, some hours before they go. The last surgery I had on 26th of September. Here, we witnessed many of them dancing around. Like, it gives me goosebumps when I see them doing that. They were very, very happy and grateful.
When we talk about health, health is not just the absence of disease. That's the WHO definition. But also has to do with psychological, mental, and spiritual well-being, apart from the physical. Okay, so many times in hospital spaces, we are concentrated on the physical well-being, but there's an environment that helps somebody's mental well-being, that helps somebody's psychological well-being, and say, look, we want you to relax, we want you to enjoy, you're important, just chill, just relax. It just brings calmness to you. And you can literally see a patient, it's like, let me rest. It's a restful environment. Now, when somebody's walked up, cortisol levels are higher, so the blood pressure gets to get higher, different things get to get worse. So calm environments, beautiful environments do more than meet the eye. And it's something that, will be wonderful if actually health-centered spaces can have that beautiful, calming environment. People will love to go to the hospital. Now we contend with them, come and have your routine checks. They don't want, because hospital spaces are not nice. It's something we are happy about, because it's not just even for the patients, but also for we the staff, because we spend a lot of our time in the work environment. So if the work environment is nice, without you knowing how much that affects your life put together, it does have a lot of impact. So we have patients who say, oh, your environment is so nice. It's just what we see outside the country. And some will say, oh, thank you for investing in the environment. We know it's so that we can be happy. So sure, it's so that our patients can be happy. We, the staff, also love to be happy because we spend a lot of time there. Our desire is to have some support, there's some support sponsorship to be able to give free eye care to those in the rural villages around Nsukka. There are so many of them. We once had a patient who had been blind for about 13 years. And after we did surgery for her, she began to see. And she was a big woman in her village before that happened. When she now went back home, their home became a pilgrimage. Everybody, let me go and see with my 2 eyes that she can now see. Now, eventually, as a hospital, we went there to that village to run free eye screening. And we saw so many who had cataracts, who had glaucoma. And then we said, okay, come over and have surgery. And they didn't come. You know, sometimes people are afraid from their village going to the city. They don't know what to expect. Sometimes they have challenge of costs. But if we have some funding, you know, that's the kind of thing you go, you run a screening, you have a bus that takes the people to the center, operate on them and return them. That's the model that works in India. So many people are blind and they are left in their homes because there's nothing to do. And most of those blindness are avoidable and can be corrected. You know, so we are looking for partners who can partner with us to reach out to these underserved communities.
To hear the testimonies about people's experiences here, how they feel taken care of, not just by the quality of service, but also by the environment that this hospital has been situated in, is the reason we do what we do. After 6 years, almost every day, there are testimonies of people's awe for the space. It's interesting to hear the lived experience of the team members here, of the patients themselves. You know, this is the feedback that makes us do what we do, that made the 6 months of living here worth it, that made the late nights, the uncertainties, all of it. This is what makes it worth it.
The success of Tesh Nsukka is not measured in watts or walls alone, but in access expanded, awareness built, and hope ignited.